Tonight on 7 News, Los Angeles explodes, days of riots ignite on the streets. Our reporters right in the thick of it.
A whiteout across the state as an early winter blast puts a shiver through Sydney.
Scott Morrison honoured by the King, his critics on the warpath.
Only applause for everyone else, Australian heroes given the recognition they deserve.
Fears for Sydney Harbour as a rotting old ship threatens to fall apart.
And a big crowd and a huge moment for Lockie Galvin with an amazing try in his first game for the Bulldogs.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Michael Usher and Angie Azemis.
Good evening. Los Angeles has suffered its third and worst day of the riot so far as protesters try to protect illegal immigrants from Donald Trump's crackdown.
They're being rounded up and deported in record numbers. This is the city right now. It's just gone 1 o'clock in the morning. And as you can see, a lot of police, roads blocked. It follows a day that has shaken the city to its foundations.
The City of Angels looks more like hell right now.
We do not need to see our city torn apart.
It might be too late for that. Ignited by Donald Trump ordering in the National Guard, thousands of them against the advice of local authorities. It's only the second time a president has ever done that.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
The consequences plain to see.
Trump hates us. He hates sanctuary cities. He's going to try and make an example out of us.
Fire in the streets, rage in the air, and fear everywhere.
Well, I'm worried about everybody. I'm worried about members of law enforcement. I'm worried about the safety of the people who are peacefully protesting.
It's not like we're in war, it's just protesting.
The trigger for the president? Protesters spitting on police.
They spit, we hit.
They hit all right, and hard. Here we go, pepper spray. We're moving backwards, guys. We're moving backwards. Pepper spray. They mean business, these guys. The pepper spray, the tear gas is in the air. It just gets to the back of your throat, straight up into your nose. It makes it hard to breathe. Running battles have continued all day.
Water in my bag.
As federal agents round up suspected illegal immigrants and their supporters. They're ruthless and relentless. Officers are deploying tear gas canisters, rubber bullets at will, and pepper spray, firing them into the crowd every couple of minutes. Another flashbang grenade, doing all they can to try to push this crowd backwards. But we are hearing that there are many, many more protesters on their way.
I got shot with a bullet. It wasn't to shoot citizens. We just want to say stop.
There's no chance of that. Donald Trump is now threatening to unleash the military, a step up from the National Guard, using a long-forgotten 18th century law.
Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop.
We have to maintain the rule of law, and that is not what is happening there. So the president stepped in. That's real leadership, and he has the authority and the responsibility to do it.
That screams dictatorship!
For now, LA is burning again. Just 6 months after the deadly wildfires, a city that should be healing. Oh no, is a combat zone instead. We have fires burning in the middle of intersections. We have police and law enforcement agencies under constant attack by these protesters. They have had rocks hurled through the windscreen of their cars. And now they are firing fireworks directly at officers who have backed off a bit, I've got to say.
People are terrified.
And no one knows how or when this chaos will end.
All right, Rob Scott and Miley Hogan join us live from Los Angeles now. Rob, to you first. California is laying the entire blame for this violence with the president.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. And after having been railroaded by Donald Trump and the National Guard, the state will rush to court tomorrow morning to sue the president. The state's lawyers arguing that his actions have just inflamed this crisis, and they say deploying the National Guard was illegal, immoral and unconstitutional. But Michael, as we know, Donald Trump has become an expert at dealing with lawsuits.
All right, thank you, Rob. Now to Miley. How do things look on the streets right now?
Yeah, good evening, Angie. Well, tension is still high on the streets in downtown Los Angeles. Just behind me at the moment, fireworks are going off. A group of police officers have just run down there to try and get control of that situation. I have to say, at this stage of the morning, there are now more police officers on the ground here than there are demonstrators. Just a short time ago, though, we did take these images. You can see police officers firing tear gas into the crowd of demonstrators, those demonstrators retaliating with fireworks and other objects. It is an unlawful assembly now declared in downtown Los Angeles, meaning anyone that's not here is subject to arrest. At this stage, police are on very high alert, reacting to those eruptions of protests that are concentrated in certain areas. But at this stage, they do appear to have control of the situation. Angie.
OK, Marley Hogan, thank you. As we shiver through an icy blast, we're being warned of a whole week of wild weather, with the cold snap to continue and strong winds driving dangerous waters on the coast.
As parts of Sydney woke to sub-zero temperatures, those over the mountains woke up to white.
In every which way, it seemed to hit the spot. They'd driven 3 hours from Sydney for a family first, seeing the snow.
We don't want to leave, but we've got to.
It crept down from Cooma, made a cameo in Canberra and went as far out as Orange. There was even an appearance in Penrith. Well, sort of. A winter wonderland as Sydney fell face first into winter. -1 at Camden this morning, 1 degree at Campbelltown, 3 at Badgerys Creek and Horsley Park, and it never got warmer than 16 across the city. But believe it or not, last Wednesday was worse.
Once you add the wind on top of that, it kind of takes the heat away from the body this time of year, so that's why it's feeling a lot colder.
And it's the way it will stay.
At least until the latter part of this week, so Thursday, Friday, and possibly even into the weekend.
But what a difference a week makes. The Alps are looking Arctic, a foot of snow at Thredbo, 2 feet at Perisher, and cold feet at Kosciuszko.
The snow has not stopped. We're trying to get out.
Never again for this pair, briefly blocked by a blizzard.
He said to me, I'm actually scared we're not going to get out. I did start to freak out.
While the cold snap did provide some fun this public holiday, the number of snow days expected this season may be limited, with forecasters predicting a warmer than average winter. In Oberon, Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
OK, Bo, what's behind it and what's ahead? Amber Laidley, you have the latest forecast details.
Michael, Angie, good evening. So we could see some more snowfall across parts of the Central West and the mountains tonight, with another dusting possible on parts of the ranges tomorrow. Beyond that, snowfall should mostly be isolated to the Alps as we head later into the week. If we look at the satellite, this low pressure system off the south coast is what's driving those wintry conditions and gusty westerly winds, reaching near gale to strong gale force speeds today, 70 km an hour out in the mountains, 76 k's off Bellambi. So while temperatures today were already down on average, particularly some of these overnight lows, the apparent temperatures today were icy. That 0 out at Katoomba, that actually felt more like -9, -1 at Camden felt more like -4, 3 today at Liverpool, that felt more like 1. So how long is this biting chill going to last? I'll have those details in your full forecast soon.
We'll pay close attention. All right, Amber, thank you for that. And tonight the weather's certainly not helping that crawl back into Sydney on the M1 at the end of the long weekend. There are long lines of traffic from the Central Coast. It's slow going after drivers pulled over to help a motorist who we're told suffered a medical episode.
A truck rollover shut down King George's Road at Beverly Hills, causing long delays for traffic heading north. Drivers were told to avoid the area entirely while emergency crews worked out how to clear the overturned B-double.
We're just standing at the traffic light, and then obviously we hear a couple of horns and then all of a sudden just a big bang.
The driver wasn't badly hurt.
It's a list that recognises extraordinary service and achievement, but the King's Birthday Honours has today stirred controversy.
Among those given Australia's highest recognition, former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, and the backlash was swift.
Across 50 years of our awards system, every former Prime Minister has been offered our most prestigious civilian gone. Keating turned down his Companion of the Order of Australia. Rudd delayed his, but eventually took it. Now, the newest PM turned AC is in the middle of a very unceremonial outcry.
Who put his name up Who put him up for an award, for God's sake?
For 9 years, Jennifer Miller has chased justice for son Reece Corso, who took his life as debt collectors chased him, claiming he owed Centrelink thousands. A Robodebt Royal Commission would blast Scott Morrison and others who oversaw the scheme. Jennifer Miller astonished when she saw the awards list.
Very angry. It's a slap in the face for all of us.
As she backs an online petition,
look, I think Scott Morrison should give it back.
Others question the Morrison government's pandemic management.
And it's an insult to people and small businesses that were shut down during the lockdowns.
We were hit with pretty much every crisis you could imagine.
Besieged by critics, Scott Morrison applauds the Australian people.
Through all of this, Australians were just incredible, and the one assumption I made is that's how they would be.
As one old Morrison rival hinted, maybe the AC doesn't belong in politics.
I think it should be concentrated on those who've worked for nothing.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Well, 829 other Australians have also been celebrated in the King's Birthday Honours list.
From celebrities to Sydney's selfless community workers, it's a chance to recognise their efforts and say a big thank you.
Parramatta Mission is the place Paul Musa gives back.
People come here, they're welcomed with a smile.
Creating a safe home for those without one.
We try and change one thing, just one thing, to make their life better.
Lanier local Kathleen Smith has spent decades uncovering family histories. She's 96.
Oh, I love it a lot. Been doing it such a long time now, 30 odd years. It never occurred to me anything like this could happen.
The King's Birthday Honours awarded to 830 Australians. Commentator Philip Adams has received the highest honour.
I think I'm probably the oldest working journalist in Australia. I don't think there's many 87-year-olds still on active service.
And Australian Hollywood royalty. Baz Luhrmann and partner Catherine Martin, now companions of the Order of Australia. They feel this honour recognises not just us, but those who have made access to the arts possible for every Australian. Three-time Olympian Nicole Livingstone also on the list.
I think about the things that I've been involved with in sport, women's sport and community health. I don't think you do these voluntary things for reward or recognition. You do it to try and make a difference.
And familiar faces like Deborah Hutton spreading awareness about skin cancer.
It's an ongoing battle trying to get people to really think about sun protection and to think about, just protecting themselves, particularly the younger generation.
Some, like Superintendent Paul Dunstan, have faced the most dangerous of circumstances, stopping Sydney stabber Merton A, one of his biggest days on the job.
We had the man with the milk crate over his head at our feet. As a senior officer, you as I said, your training kicked in.
Nick Caldas, another of the state's top cops.
Building bridges with communities over 2 decades is something that I value, and I look back on it very fondly.
And looking forward, recipients like Jennifer Westacott supercharging Sydney's future around the new airport.
We're there not just building any city, we're building a city around new jobs, new industries. We're focused on delivering a city that changes the economic landscape of Western Sydney.
From past to present, service that will impact generations to come. Angelique Opie, 7 News.
An Inner West community is up in arms over a proposed new housing development, despite Sydney's desperate need for more homes.
It's yet another blow to the government's housing hopes, as new data shows our western suburbs are falling further behind.
At Lambert Park, family football kicking off with a housing protest. Locals fighting off a proposal to build 3 8-storey towers around their turf.
Holding hundreds of apartments. It is obviously incompatible with this neighbourhood.
Tensions escalating as more high-rise buildings move into the Inner West.
How hard are you prepared to fight this?
All the way, whatever it takes.
A new housing authority is fast-tracking more than 45,000 homes, almost 2/3 in Sydney's established east. But less than 12% of current projects are in our fastest-growing suburbs: Penrith, Liverpool, Camden and Riverstone. Western Sydney housing critically behind.
Chris Minns bet heavily on Rose Hill and has taken his eye off the ball when it comes to actual
completions.
The government today dishing out $30 million for more homelessness services, the housing crisis fueling record demand.
Our work has at least quadrupled. At least.
It's a tough match, the dire need for more affordable housing versus the very spirit of our communities. The government tasked with refereeing the two.
Being in a housing crisis doesn't mean you're going to knock anything down anywhere just to put housing up.
A delicate dribble. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Let's go to some breaking news now on a shooting in Las Vegas, and we warn some of the video may be a bit confronting for viewers. It captures the moment a gunman wearing cap and sunglasses there got into an argument before firing on people in front of the Bellagio casino. One person reportedly dead. At this stage, it's unknown what sparked the shooting. The area currently in lockdown.
The Israeli Defence Force has taken command of a Gaza-bound ship that had environmental activist Greta Thunberg on board. Her vessel is part of the Freedom Flotilla, which hoped to break Israel's blockade and deliver aid to Gaza. Despite multiple warnings from the Israeli Navy to stop, they pushed on and were eventually intercepted.
If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces.
While Greta says she was kidnapped, Israel says passengers will be returned to their home countries, but only after they've watched a documentary about the October 7 Hamas atrocity.
And protesters gathered outside Anthony Albanese's electorate office here in Sydney. The Snap protest was calling on the Australian government to urgently intervene and demand Israel release the crew.
It was cold and wet, but that hasn't stopped one of the biggest crowds ever for a regular season NRL match.
The Bulldogs-Eels showdown lived up to the hype, but it was the new signing that's divided the league, Lockie Galvin, who stole the show.
Drowned out by the Lebanese drums. Lockie Galvin gets his first taste of a Bulldogs game day. The team named on the interchange bench for his debut, facing off against the Eels, a team he was linked with just weeks ago.
We'll just see how we go. I'm pretty sure we can probably win without him.
At just $10 each, the Kings' birthday clash was the hottest ticket in town. Young and old getting around their side for one of the original rivalries.
Just come from Coffs Harbour to watch the game.
But a win today is as much about bragging rights as it is about community. The Dogs and Eels playing for the 4th I Forgive Cup in memory of the Abdullah children who were hit and killed in 2020 by a drug driver.
The rain has done little to deter the crowds, with close to 70,000 fans expected to turn out here at Accor Stadium. If they do, this will be the largest ever regular season crowd in NRL history.
Go Doggies! Fans fell short of the attendance record, but Lockie Galvin lived up to the hype.
Bulldogs for Galvin!
Jodie Lee, 7 News.
Well, Mel McLaughlin is at Accor Stadium. Mel, I'd say relief for Blues coach Laurie Daly after that game.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Good evening, guys. Fortunately, all 4 of his Blue Stars who played in Origin 1, Mitch Moses, Zach Lomax, Stephen Crichton and, of course, Max King, appear to have all gotten through unscathed. Well, teammates began arriving at their Blue Mountains base this afternoon, with Laurie Daly set to name an extended squad for Game 2 later this evening. Broncos centre Kotoni Staggs is a surprise addition, arriving in camp with Payne Haas. Stefano Utuikamanu is expected to come in for the injured Mitch Barnett in the only change to the team that won the series opener. Of course, I'll be back later in sport with more Origin news, including Billy Slater's reasons for pretty much dumping Daly Cherry Evans, and of course Big Willie's making his way over. Good luck to him with all the Doggies fans. We'll hear from him in sport.
All right, thanks very much, Mel. See you then. Well, some say it's an eyesore, others a piece of history. Next, time running out for a rotting old ship putting the harbour at risk.
Terrifying plunge, how a car ended up in a Lower North Shore backyard.
A car seat rethink, the new research that could change how we restrain young kids.
An Australian star conquers the world stage in a homegrown Sydney show. That's at 6:30.
And where there's a will, there's a way. The operation to save a zebra goes sky high. An elderly driver has taken a terrifying plunge in her car after accidentally reversing over an embankment and rolling on the lower North Shore. Thankfully, the woman in her 70s wasn't hurt in the crash at Middle Cove that happened just after 4 this afternoon.
There are fears Sydney Harbour could be brought to a standstill because of a rusting 2,000-tonne ship.
Authorities are worried there could be a toxic disaster and have given the owners of the Cape Don a deadline to get it ship-shape.
For the MV Cape Don, the tide may be running out. Berthed in Sydney Harbour, a relic of our maritime past, put on notice.
It's a shame to remove all that history from the harbour.
In its day, the 2,000-tonne ship kept remote lighthouses going.
Supplied the lighthouses right up through Northern Territory.
For years, its owner, the Sea Heritage Foundation, has restored the vessel's interior, but now it's been declared unsafe by maritime officials, given days to book a dry dock.
We're working hard with them to make sure that we don't have a disaster where the boat sinks.
Like former Manly ferry Barragoola, also berthed at Waverton, the risk of the Cape Don sinking denied by its owners, saying while the ship's appearance reflects its age, its structural integrity remains intact. And planning repairs at Garden Island. Some fear it might sink on the way.
A huge issue because it could prevent shipping from coming in and out under the harbour bridge.
Part of a recent push in Sydney Harbour and locations along the coast cleaning up ageing vessels no longer in use, the MV Cape Don, one of the biggest challenges. Often, the longer they sit, the larger the salvage cost.
These boats can leach asbestos, they can leach oil, lead paint.
Even if they ooze history. Chris Marr, 7 News.
Mushroom cook Erin Patterson will be back in the witness box tomorrow as she continues her defence at her triple murder trial. The case had been set down for 6 weeks but has already blown out, now entering its 7th week, and it won't end anytime soon, with the judge warning jurors of potential new evidence still to come.
New South Wales firefighters have answered a call to help battle the major wildfires burning across Canada. A team of 54 specialists, including rural fire service personnel, left Sydney today. They'll help reinforce exhausted Canadian crews on the ground. More than 200 fires have burned through more than 2.3 million hectares. Well, stay with us. Plenty still to come here on 7 News after the break. A twist in the search for Ian Thorpe's missing valuables, who detectives are looking at.
A closed case blown wide open. The 7 News investigation that changed everything for one family.
A major milestone for South West Sydney's airport line.
A Sydney one-woman show earns an Australian Star, theatre's highest honour.
The price of a cup of coffee climbing will tell you how high it could get.
The country kids making Michael Jackson magic on the Sydney stage.
And ahead in Sport Live from Accor Stadium, the smiling assassin Billy Slater explains his savage call to axe DCE.
New details have emerged in the case of Ian Thorpe's missing valuables. 2GB is reporting police are looking at a removalist company as they investigate the alleged theft of around $150,000 worth of the Olympians' items. They may have gone missing when the former swimmer moved houses. Last week he reported the theft of watches, jewellery and other small valuables.
A campaign by 7 News has prompted Queensland's Attorney-General to order a fresh investigation into a young woman's suspicious death.
Police concluded Courtney Anderson jumped from a car driven by her boyfriend, but her family has never accepted that explanation.
More than a year of tears for their daughter Courtney Anderson, but these ones were the tears they'd prayed they'd one day shed.
So we've had lots of happy tears this morning.
And it's all because of this.
I've now instructed the coroner to commence an investigation. Let's not put this family through any more pain.
A fresh inquest to determine why a 28-year-old with so much to live for was deemed by police and a coroner to have committed suicide.
This has been really hard. We should be grieving Courtney, not fighting
On April 1 last year, Courtney's boyfriend, Ashley Campbell, was at the wheel of the Toyota Hilux travelling south on the Bruce Highway. He told police Courtney opened the door while the vehicle was travelling 80 kilometres an hour. Campbell claimed they'd been fighting all day and were talking it out when Courtney suddenly jumped to her death.
She wasn't suicidal.
Ashley was 7 years Courtney's senior and met her when she was just 14. Her family telling police there was evidence of domestic violence and he'd allegedly smashed 6 of her mobile phones. At the scene of Courtney's death, Campbell tested positive to methamphetamine and cannabis.
It took 9 months for them to charge him.
Courtney's case was featured in the 7 News hit podcast, The Truth About Amy. After 7 News contacted the Attorney General's office, she met with Courtney's family.
I was very much persuaded by the family, but also, the new information. We get to clear our baby's name.
Katrina Blowers, 7 News.
Work on a critical road link in Sydney's west is taking shape, with a bridge connection between the M7 and M12 marking a major milestone. The toll-free M12 will be the primary access point for the new Western Sydney Airport. Construction, we're told, is on track. It's due to be completed next year in time for the airport opening. Well, she's won TV's top honour, and now Sarah Snook's conquered the theatre world.
The Australian actress has won a Tony Award for her portrayal of Dorian Gray in a Sydney production that's taken Broadway by storm.
On a night the stage comes alive with a cast of theatre royalty. When the spotlight fell on Best Actress
to Sarah Snook.
It was an Australian star who stole the show.
Thank you so much for this. This means so much for a little Australian girl.
Sarah Snook bringing to life Oscar Wilde's gothic horror, The Picture of Dorian Gray.
I would give my soul for that.
It was a performance that defied belief. One woman playing all 26 characters.
Thank you to my incredible team. It is billed as a one-person show, and I don't feel alone any night that I do this show.
Her success started with Succession.
I don't know if he's dead. Is he dead?
Winning an Emmy Award for her role as Shiv in the power-hungry Roy family, and now theatre's top honour.
It's an intimidating room full of incredibly talented people.
Among them, her director, Sydney's Kip Williams, nominated as well, but unlike his star,
Sam Pinkleton,
it wasn't to be. For Australia's hopes, the night truly was a one-woman show. Emma Cropper, 7 News. Well, Pat Cummins is getting ready for the World Test Championship with some farmyard cricket. Next, why our best bowler bounced Jeremy Clarkson.
Petrol for 99 cents a bargain from the Sydney Servo, but there is a slight catch.
A magic musical moment. A Paul McCartney surprise makes Bruce Springsteen's dream come true.
And Suit in Sport live from McCall Stadium. Willie Mason's here to talk all things Origin and, of course, those newly galvanised Dogs of War.
Regular unleaded petrol dropped to 99 cents per litre at one Sydney Servo today, but only for a short time. Metro Haberfield was offering a King's birthday deal from 2 p.m. to 4 this afternoon. It didn't spark a rush to fill up, but it was almost $1 cheaper than the rest of Sydney. Other servos, as we know, are charging a King's ransom by comparison, $1.83 a litre on average.
Australian cricket star Pat Cummins has taken on an unlikely challenge, playing former Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson in a game of farmyard cricket.
He's in England for the World Test Championship, but just couldn't help taking a quick detour.
Jeremy Clarkson is no stranger to speed, but he was bowled over, witnessing some Aussie pace.
Jesus Christ!
Wow. Why didn't you catch that? You could have caught
see
that.
the speed it was going.
Pat Cummins winning the toss.
Well, I'm going to choose downhill. Let's do that.
In a left field way to prepare for this week's World Test Championship final, with some downtime at Jeremy Clarkson's Diddley Squat farm. That's been made famous in his streaming series.
Do you ever get anyone out?
The Aussie captain, in reply, displaying the line and length that's propelled him to stardom.
You dickhead! Why'd you do that?
I had to wind him up.
Why'd you do that?
Well done, Pat.
You just mirrored the last two, I did. Oh, that's not fair.
Is that the sort of thing your teammates say to you?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That's how to wind up an Australian bowler.
Cummins has a hobby farm of his own in New South Wales, a way he was able to connect with Jeremy Clarkson, who refused to face a delivery.
You having a go?
No, I don't. I can't. I literally can't play cricket.
There'll be no such luxury against South Africa at Lords. In London, Ben Downey, 7 News.
We're being warned our daily cup of coffee could soon cost up to $12. Coffee beans are more expensive than ever thanks to inflation, drought in Brazil and China's recent surge in drinkers making the switch from tea. Australia's coffee suppliers say prices could increase anywhere from $8 to a whopping $12.
Installing a booster seat, every new parent will certainly know the feeling, but there's new evidence suggesting we're using them wrong. Now, still to come, new research how we should really be restraining our kids.
And is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a flying zebra. Find out why soon on 7 News.
It's the best shot of the day. Wait for that one. But first, Mel is back from Accora Stadium now with sport. Mel, Lockie Galvin, how was this afternoon? He is certainly living the dream tonight.
Yeah, fairy tale stuff, isn't it, Mush? Hello again to both of you. We're trying to send the doggies back to the top of the ladder. It doesn't get much better than that. Coming up in sport, the new duo now known as Momax fired for the Eels, but Galvin's team spirit helps get the Bulldogs home. And 5.5 hours of tennis, Nirvana Carlos Alcaraz wins a French Open final for the ages. Welcome back to Accor Stadium, where it's been a very special day for the Bulldogs and, of course, the newest dog, Lockie Galvin. Almost 60,000 fans braved miserable weather to see a 30-12 victory over the Eels. Para provided a serious contest, Galvin's late addition, sparking the doggies, as you'll see.
What a start to life as a Bulldog. In the number 23 of Jordan and Warney, Lockie Galvin sat stressing through a wild first half. Matt Burton outsmarted Para, ref and bunker, blatantly offside, but good luck if you can get away with it. The Eels reply.
Lomax intercept. Parramatta now got their chance.
From a duo now being dubbed as Momax, if it sticks. Burton's work with Bronson Sherry put Marcelo Motoir in a brutal contact sport. Somehow this feather duster cost a 10-minute rest for Viliami Kikau.
There's a high risk of injury. It's on report and in the bed.
Oh boy.
Para levelled 12-all at the break.
Paulo, great spin. What a pass.
Second half was tight, one penalty goal in it, till 23 to go. Galvin on at halfback, Connor Tracy finally at game 100 after all his knee reconstructions, epitome of hard-earned.
He held up Moses, got it back to Kikau.
Kurt Mann, origin bound for Queensland, set up the sealer.
Kurt Mann is the man, and offloads Harry Hayes on his way.
But it could only finish this way.
Bulldogs for Galvin! Galvin scores!
I just want to play footy, and I was smiling and enjoying it out there today, so that's all I really want to do. And with these bunch of boys, it's quite amazing.
Top of the ladder, Teen Idol on board. The year of the Dogs is all coming together. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Special indeed. Well, Laurie Daly has just named his squad for Origin 2 in Perth on Wednesday week. As expected, Stefano Utuikamanu comes onto the bench with Max King to start at prop for the injured Mitch Barnett. Matt Burton, Keon Kalil-Matangi and Lindsay Smith are part of the extended squad. Up north, Billy Slater denied making Daly Cherry Evans a scapegoat for Queensland's Game 1 defeat. DCE is the first Maroons captain to be sacked mid-series since 1996, with Tom Dearden to play halfback.
That he wasn't going to get the opportunity.
Slater will name a new skipper tomorrow. The Maroons coach had no issue with naming Ezra Mam in his extended squad, despite the drug-driving saga that cost him a 9-match ban. Willie Mason has made it through the crowds.
Yes.
Great to see you, Willie. Your thoughts, firstly. DCE basically getting the axe, and of course Ezra Mam somewhat controversially being included. It's divided opinion.
Yeah, it is. I mean, DCE, I personally don't think he deserves to get axed for Game 2. Great players like that, you need to give him a second chance. I reckon he would have come out in Perth and put on the best show. But it happens, you know what I mean? Billy's made that decision. It's a very hard decision, so he's got to stick with it.
Yeah, Billy Slater sounded maybe a little bit defensive today, or is it panic? What do you make of what's going on with the Maroons? I know you love it.
The series is on the line. I love seeing the Maroons panic, right? Picking Ezra Mam on the extended bench, a lot of these things, you know, it seems like he is panicking a little bit, but they need to win. Billy's been in these positions before. They need to win, so whatever it takes.
We know you bleed blue. You've been talking about Big Stefano. What do you like about his inclusion? And in for Mitch Barnett as well.
Yeah,
happy?
I am very happy. Stefano was him or Keon Kalamatangi were on this much. Max King gets the start. Yep. Stefano comes onto the bench. He's been there before. He can do a job. He's in Melbourne. He's in a great system. He's very detailed, so he can do a job for him.
All right. Now, what about this game tonight? Got to ask you about it. The Doggies, if there was a roof, it would have been lifted off when Galvin got on the field, but when he scored the try, more to the point.
Look, if Galvin was thinking, did I make the right decision? As soon as I said, Lockie Galvin getting on there and 55,000 just cheering his name. I was so proud of that kid. I spoke to him before the game. He's very nervous, but he was so happy with his decision to be a Bulldog, and just out there, he would have been going, how good's this?
Yeah, post-match, he was like, I wasn't nervous. I was just really cold. That's why I was jumping around. But either way, he was absolutely buzzing. It's a great addition.
We look totally different with him on the field. I mean, like, I don't know where we play him, and it looked like he was playing at the halves, and Sexton went into 9, so it's just like we just got to figure it out.
Yeah, indeed. Wonderful to see you. Good luck out there getting out with
I'll try and get home.
Thanks, Willie. Well, with the World Cup spot so close, the Socceroos are adamant they won't wilt in the searing Saudi heat on Wednesday. Let's have a look at all of that. They are very close to direct qualification.
Training in near 40 degrees. Good preparation for the heat that's coming.
Expecting a very attacking, sort of hell-bent, relentless sort of Saudi Arabia to pile the pressure on us, to make us sort of nervous, make us sort of sweat.
The Socceroos can afford to lose by up to 4 goals and still qualify for the World Cup, but that's not the mindset.
We're here to win. We have to approach this game as if, we haven't qualified.
The qualifying's done for the Test team, who are reacquainting themselves with Lords. Wednesday's Test Championship final against the Proteas looms as another surreal moment for Bo Webster.
I've been here a couple of times to watch a few games here and there throughout the years, but to be out in the middle, extra special.
Extra special doesn't even begin to sum up the French Open men's final. Yannick Sinner took the first 2 sets before Carlos Alcaraz roared back.
Oh, it's exceptional.
The reigning champ saved 3 match points.
A staggering recovery.
Finished in style. The Spaniard winning the longest Roland Garros final in history, 5 hours and 29 minutes. That's 5 Grand Slams at age 22, just like Rafa Nadal.
My idol, my inspirations, it's a huge honour, honestly, but hopefully it's not going to stop like this.
Nick Markham, 7 News.
Well, Sunrise host Matt Shervington came good on a big money dare from the 11th Big Freeze game.
Into the plunge of his life. It's 4. The hammer went as well.
After taking the icy plunge at the G, Shervo revealed a donor pledged $10,000 to motor neurone disease research if he flew back to Sydney dressed as Thor. We can gladly report he touched down a short time ago, minus the bodysuit, which disintegrated in the game. For the record, Collingwood held off Melbourne in a 1-point thriller. What a very special day. And Shervo, we know he loves it, but he certainly pulled off that Thor costume, the cape over the head. It wasn't ideal, but he nailed it. We love him. Well done. Well done for trying it. God, that would have been cold.
It was a good sport.
Indeed. All right, Mel, out there. A bit cold where you are as well. What an amazing day behind you there as well. Galvanised. That's going to stick in all the
that's a good one.
Galvanised. There you go. Heard it here first.
Good on you, Mum. Thank you. Well, Australian child seat laws have been around since the 80s, but there's growing evidence we've still got it wrong.
While some children are out of their booster seats by age 7, experts say many are not tall enough until they're 12.
It's an exciting rite of passage for parents-to-be, the baby capsule fitted ahead of their precious new arrival. But experts say we're putting our children in harm's way.
The law must be rewritten as far as I'm concerned.
The Queensland Family and Child Commission looked at seatbelt and child restraint use over 20 years. It found Australian laws lag notably behind other high-resource countries, with 3/4 of children who died in crashes not properly restrained for their age. Primary school children usually leave booster seats behind at age 7 or 8. Whilst legally that's okay, global research suggests they won't be the proper height for an adult seat.
The recommendation, though, is to keep them in their seat till they meet the shoulder height markers.
Parents Parents should follow the 5-step test before moving children out of their car seats. It takes into account factors like height and leg length. Most children won't meet the threshold until they're over the age of 10 or even 12. The National Transport Council is now conducting a review of the rules.
The child relies on you, the adult, to get it right and to keep them safe.
Anna McGraw, 7 News.
Music fans had the treat of a lifetime when Sir Paul McCartney made a surprise appearance at a Bruce Springsteen concert in the UK. Legendary Beatle joined the boss for a classic duet.
So let's bring out Sir Paul McCartney. If I'm in love.
The performance in Sir Paul's hometown of Liverpool was a dream come true for Springsteen, who is a lifelong Beatles fan.
Well, this is our favourite vision of the day. The team behind this rescue sure earned their stripes, airlifting Ed, the pet zebra, to safety. Now, he'd escaped in Tennessee more than a week ago. He'd become a bit of a viral sensation, with sightings of him apparently running along the local interstate. Thankfully, we can say rescuers eventually found him in a paddock, wrapped him in a net, lifted him to safety safely. Good ending for Ed.
Yeah, I'm happy for Ed. Well, the bright side is next. From the bush to centre stage, meet Sydney's mini Michael Jacksons.
And it's not looking as cold tomorrow, but this wind chill isn't going anywhere yet. I'll have all the details in your full forecast next.
7 News Sydney. No more power bills. Free cash to pay for solar batteries. But are they worth it? 7 News crunches how much to spend to go off the grid for good. Sydney's only news, fighting for your money. 7 News at 6.
Welcome back. Well, thankfully, temperatures are looking slightly more comfortable tomorrow, but the wind chill isn't going anywhere with more gusty westerlies forecast. Still pretty cold out there this evening. It's currently hovering around 11 degrees, but it feels more like 7. Let's return to the satellite picture. There's that low pressure system lying just off the south coast, feeding plenty of moisture onshore. Conditions will start to ease as that system moves away from the coast into tomorrow. Still a bit wet in parts though. Winds also showing signs of starting to ease later in the week, shifting southerly though, so they will still have some bite. Strong westerlies also forecast across Brisbane tomorrow, a sunny top of 19 degrees forecast. Bit of a frosty start on the way for Canberra, a shower or two and 14 in Melbourne. A few showers also about in Adelaide and over in Perth tomorrow. Statewide, it is looking nice and settled up on the far northeast, the far northwest and parts of the coast tomorrow, but on and west of the ranges we'll see another cold and cloudy day with isolated showers. More snow showers are also possible on the ranges around the southern tablelands, around 1,300 metres rather, but otherwise all that snow should be mostly confined to the Alps with some patchy morning frost on and west of the Divide too. Let's zoom in now on Sydney. These temperatures are looking much closer to average. Thankfully, the apparent temperatures should also start to creep back into double digits tomorrow, but it will still feel up to 6 degrees cooler than this at times. That overnight low of 1 at Katoomba will feel more like -1, 8 to start in Camden. That'll feel more like 3. Along the coast tomorrow, hazardous surf warnings are in place with a south to southwesterly swell increasing to 3 metres during the morning. Those west to southwesterly winds reaching up to 35 knots, so gale force wind warnings will remain in place for the waters of Sydney. But back in the city tomorrow, clear skies are forecast. 18 degrees is the forecast top in the city, dipping to 10 overnight. These temperatures actually slightly above the June average, but expect it to feel a bit cooler. Winds will gradually now start to ease over the coming days. Conditions generally remaining clear until Thursday evening, when we could see the next round of showers arrive, developing along the coast on Friday. But boy, what a start it's been to winter so far, Angie and Michael.
It's called fresh is what it is. All right, Amber, thank you for that. Now here's Grace Fitzgibbon with the bright side.
Tonight, the clever boys from the bush smashing their big break under the city lights. Small feet, big talent. 13-year-old Daniel is currently playing a young Michael Jackson on the big stage at Sydney's Lyric Theatre. Hailing from Ballarat, it's the opportunity of a lifetime.
I remember doing my self-tape. I dressed up and I blew dry did everything I could to look like him. And it was just like an amazing feeling.
Daniel is new to theatre, playing just one role before he starred as Donkey in Shrek for his high school play.
So you went from playing Donkey in Shrek to being Michael Jackson here in Sydney.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Not really, but yeah.
And in the role of Michael's brother, Marlon, is 9-year-old superstar Caleb.
So my home is back in Dubbo. They are very proud of me. This is my first ever show I've ever done in my life.
Together, they are kicking goals.
Do you reckon that you might be able to show me a few moves?
Yeah.
You've been hit by a smooth. Some people are beyond help.
Yeah, good try though.
Yeah, not bad. Well, that's 7 News for this Monday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening.
Sunrise starts from 5:30 tomorrow from all of our 7 News team. Have a great night.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app.